Greetings, my friend. This is Stan Houston, and I heard this the other day. We are all dying, but I'm dying faster than you. Wow. Well, first of all, no, that's not me, and it's not talking about me. But it's the story of a brave young woman that I heard about this past weekend as I got involved in a situation that I was never planning to, but because of my friends and people who are near and dear to me I found out a lot about what I'm going to call the CF factor. The CF factor. And obviously there's more to the story, so I hope you'll join me. This is the Creator Entrepreneur Podcast. We're involved in ideas, influence, impact, and income. And this program is just for you, and it starts right now. Yes, I'm so glad that you could join us as we continue on to try and find ways for you. And in fact, more and more, this program is going to be from you, about you, and to all of you. As I seek you to contact me and simply say, Stan, I'd like to be on your program. I've got some stories to tell, and I've got some wisdom to share. And I'm going to say, your platform is right here. You can take 10 to 20 minutes to tell the whole world what is important to you, what you care about. So hopefully you'll reach out to me and do just that. Well, of course, there is a story there, so let me tell you the story. One of my first clients and good friends who trusted me when I began my work as a performance coach many years ago was a woman named Deb. And Deb was in the insurance and financial services industry, and she'd been up and down, and things had gone well, and then they hadn't gone well, and she was starting over because she was very much convinced that there was a real need in the industry that she wanted to deal with because she felt that as people were getting older and as they were looking for ways to deal with what it means to get older, there was not the facility and the care and the means of financing all of those things that we need as we do get older. And of course, that old line, growing old ain't for sissies. So Deb and I worked together for a number of years, and she built a very successful business. And as she began to move toward her succession years, she was thinking about what she's going to do after she does her next or perhaps her encore experience. Well, it was never in her goal-setting plans, but it turned out to be significant to her. She never wrote down in her plans, I think I'll get involved in the cystic fibrosis movement. Well, how did that happen? Well, of course, I'm sure you can probably figure it out. Her granddaughter, after being born, was diagnosed with that genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. Now, for many of you, you may not know, as I did not know, just how challenging that disease can be. I'd heard the name, but of course, we're all hearing names about ailments and diseases and conditions. But Deb became my storyteller of telling me more and more about cystic fibrosis. And I was eager to learn, but a little bit leery of it. I didn't know if I wanted to get that involved. In fact, I've got so many other things that I'm convinced of and concerned about. But recently, Deb invited me to participate. As she said to me, I'm always coming back. I'd like you to participate in a gala for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. What does that mean? She said, well, this year it's easy because you don't have to come to the deal and get all dressed up in Minneapolis. It's going to be virtual. And so I'm going to invite you to a virtual cystic fibrosis gala. And of course, she said, and you don't have to, but you know that it's not only a gala, it's there to raise money for the cause and hopefully finding a cure for cystic fibrosis. And so I said, sure, sign me up. And that she did. And I was ready to go. And then we got to talk about what it might be like. And so I was listening. And she told me the story of a young woman who recently spoke at one of the same events. Her name was Claire. And she was a young woman in her 20s. And she began her talk in that headline way. All of us are dying, but I'm dying faster than you. And you know what? That's true for every CF person. And it was unfortunately very, very true for Claire, because shortly after she made that comment and challenged the audience with it, she herself was a victim of this terrible disease. I tuned in on Saturday, and what I heard were stories of people of courage and achievement, overcoming obstacles that was truly, kind of, I don't know if it was life-changing, but it was a little bit life-shaking. For a woman to say, I'm so glad. At the age of 5, they said I didn't have a future. And by God's grace and good fortune and your help, I'm going to be 45 this year. And she celebrated the fact that she will be 45. She will have made it to 45. And the stories of how she did that and how she overcame things and how she overachieved, literally overachieved things, was truly, I confess that I'm getting a little bit more sentimental in my life, and a little tear came up as I thought about that and thought about her achievements and obviously my good fortune. And because I've also learned that my own grandchild also has a genetic condition, certainly not that, but something that could be challenging, that kind of thing came into my life. And so I literally want to take time in this short little podcast today to continue the story on and ask you to think about what it could mean to you as we are all going to be reprioritizing our lives in 2021. If nothing else, this COVID crisis, as challenging and as terrible as it has been and might still become, it has caused all of us to take a little bit more of a time out and to hopefully be thankful for the good things that we do have, but at the same time, perhaps think about what we truly care about, what is truly important, and we're all in a situation where we have to reorder our priorities. And one of the things I loved about the story that gave me encouragement was the motto of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And it is so simple and so wonderful. And so what I'm teaching people all the time, say it short. Say it in a few words, but the message is powerful. And I'm going to take just a brief break now for you to maybe get another cup of coffee and then come back and let me tell you about that motto and what it might mean to all of us. I'm Stan Houston. The program is the Creator Entrepreneur Podcast. We're here to hear your ideas, ways that we can influence others and be influenced, how we can make a difference and make our mark, impact the world, and then there's all kinds of income that could come to us. And let's find out how to do that and how to share it with others. We'll be back. Well, here we go. That was more of the story. Well, now let's perhaps take a few minutes to tell the rest of the story. Obviously, the program after the storytelling. And let me tell you, they were so smart. They didn't go out and do a lot of heavy pitching. They just allowed people, successful people, people who had overcome, to tell their stories. And that's what was so moving about it. It was simply good stories told by brave and bold and bright people. Again, as Deb and I found out working together, storytelling is the only really effective means of communication. And if you want to move people, if you want to, kind of stir their mind and move their spirit and touch their heart, if you want them to do something, maybe even buy something, tell stories. As I often say, the master teacher came into the world and he told stories and asked questions. So what do? We preach sermons and give answers. Maybe we should go back to the master storyteller, indeed the master healer. Well, of course, what we want, what Deb wants for all of those people, and particularly for the people who suffer from cystic fibrosis, we want them to be healed. And most of life is trying to restore that which was taken away from us, something that was lost from us, and that's the very definition of healing. And cystic fibrosis, their motto is, here we go, CF, cure found. Think about that. 2 words, cure found. That's what the money's for. That's what the energy is for. That's what they're seeking to do. And there's been great progress in how they've been able to, through therapy and treatment and very expensive medicine, to prolong the life of many of those people who literally, when they were first born, like that woman who was 5, they've been able to live much longer. And as a result of that, there is a better life for those people. But wouldn't it be nice? CF, cure found. Isn't that a little bit about what we're thinking about with the COVID thing? Hopefully with the vaccines or whatever else they may be able to come up with through all of the prayers of people, the hard work and passion of people, that the vaccine will be found. In effect, cure found. What a wonderful, wonderful motto for life. Something is wrong. Something has gone terribly astray. Something isn't working. But you know what? CF, cure found. I'm going to encourage you right now to take a piece of paper, or perhaps just think it out loud, and at the top put CF. And what are some of the things in your life where you would seek a CF, a cure found? What might that be? I just want you to think about that. Well, now that's the end of the story. And so I was deeply touched this weekend, and I've learned a great deal, as I oftentimes say, by accident. You'll learn more here by accident than most places by design. I didn't go there to learn something, but I certainly learned something and was challenged by it all. So I passed that on to you, and I would just encourage you to take some time now to find out more about cystic fibrosis, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Just do the search. You'll find plenty of stuff and many good stories. and, of course, ways that you can get involved and you can help. So I would encourage you to do just that. CF, cure found. And pray for the family and pray for all of those people who literally are saying, yes, we are all dying, but I'm dying faster than you. And may they be graced and may they be CF'd real soon. We'll be back. I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me this 15 minutes. Hey, we're going to be doing a series of workshops on what it takes to be a creator entrepreneur. And one of the fun programs coming up, I think you'll enjoy it because all of us are going to have to learn the art of reselling and retailing in this new age. And so I've got a cute little program, maybe not so cute, but I think it's kind of clever. It's just simply this. How Jesus sells. That's right. He was the healer. He was the storyteller. And he was also quite a seller. And I think you might be able to learn something from his style, his system, and his way of reaching the world. He did quite a good job of that in 3 years. And the organization has lasted much longer. So I think you'll enjoy that. So keep in touch with me. Again, why don't you raise your hand and audition to be on the program? I'd love to hear from you. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. There's a very good opportunity and a very good chance that you'll be right here joining me on the Creator Entrepreneur Podcast. Best and blessings to you as we go through this giving and receiving and Christmas time. Bye for now.